Alright, Becky and Luke here, and today what I want to do is kind of show you some of the pickups that I've got recently, and some repairs, projects, and yeah, try and sell you some car insurance. Do you feel overrun on the streets by driving those electric hybrid cars and find everyone around you who has a V8 much cooler car? No, I'm just messing with you. Sorry about the suit. But yeah, I'll show you what I've been up to recently. So first off, I'll show you some of the pickups that I got. As you remember probably from my last video, it's been about a week or so ago, I've picked up some different hardware. I picked up the Triforce, and I also picked up a GD-ROM drive. Now I have a DIM board hopefully coming in the mail whenever it shows up. It's been about a week now, but I wanted to get some games for my Naomi before I got the DIM board, so I'd have something to play. And I wound up getting quite a few actually, but I figured I'd show you those games that I got here right now. First one I got, this is Virtua Fighter 4, and all of these come with the security chip. So this Virtua Fighter 4. I have Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro. This one is Guilty Gear Exodus Reload. Sports Jam. This one actually came with the manual, so that's kind of cool. I have Guilty Gear XX and Gundam vs. Gion DX. Actually, I have a couple more. I'm actually using them to prop up my camera because the stand is too small. I'll show you what other ones I got, and then I'll put this thing back. But I have Melty Blood Act Cadenza. This is version B. And let's see here. Ooh. This one is Musapi no Choco Maka. That one should be interesting. And Melty Blood Act Cadenza. So I have those three here that I'm using to prop my camera up with. But yeah, those are some pickups that I got recently. Some other stuff that I've been working on a lot is a lot of the Naomi stuff. Since I really want to get some more, get some more games for it and kind of try out some different stuff. I haven't had a working GD-ROM drive or a DIM board for it for the longest time. If you remember when I first picked up my first Naomi board, I didn't have pretty much anything for it, but I have a few games for it now and really want to get into the GD-ROM games and try those out. This is something that I've been working on here for a few minutes. I haven't really had a chance to try it out too much, but this is Cosmic Smash here, and this game is not working. Every time I plug it in, it just doesn't come up. There's no splash screen. It just does not work. So I'm not sure what's up with this one, but I'm going to have to try and figure it out. Also, a lot of these games here, when you first get them, these things are basically just carts, just plug and play. But a lot of these games usually come really dirty because when they're used in arcade machines, they just get, all the dirt just gets sucked and trapped into them. So what I did with all my carts is I took them all apart and I cleaned them up with a magic eraser, and they came out looking pretty nice. Unfortunately, this one doesn't work, but usually if you get one of these carts and you want to try and clean them up, there's two screws in here that hold the circuit board in place. And once you get those out, you might have to kind of wedge the sides up because these things are kind of held in there tightly. And you can pull the board out. You can notice that there's one EEPROM here, and usually when you take these boards out, there's a ton of dirt around this side here on the end and a ton of dirt around this side. It's from the vents on the sides here, or the ends here. So clean that up. I'm going to have to play around with that some more, but... and then once you get that done, all you have is a plastic case, and these are really easy to clean. And you'll be surprised on what a dirty case, can come out looking like after you do a bit of cleaning to it. So it came out really nice. Now that's one thing that I've been working on here. I'm going to have to take the old camera, pick the camera up here, and show you what else I've been messing around with. Let's go around here, and you can see on the floor, I have this mess of Naomi stuff on the floor. Been playing some games, and this board here, this is the original Naomi board that I had. This was a working board that I had in my storage unit, went out there recently, picked it up, and brought it out here. The main reason why is, if you remember, I had those 4 dead boards that I got in a couple of lots, and haven't been able to get those things working. So I wanted to get my working one out and see how I could adjust the monitor, adjust everything to where this thing would turn on, and then use this, all of the setup from this, for the other boards. But I told you I'd cleaned up those games, and I'll show you some of the games that I have here. This one I cleaned up. This is Virtua Striker 2, version 2000. And some of these games, you know, they're not all that great. That's for sure. I need to pick up some better ones. It's Virtua Tennis Power Smash. And this one's a good one. So this is Capcom versus SNK Millennium Fight 2000. This is just like the GD-ROM drive, only the GD-ROM one is Millennium Fight 2000 Pro. And the last one, Dynamic Baseball 99. So I don't know how dynamic it is, really. I played a little bit of it, but yeah, it's okay. So, and the one that you can see in the Naomi here, this one's the Typing of the Dead. So, to show you guys some of this stuff in action, maybe make this video a little bit more interesting, what I thought I'd do is hook everything up. So as you can see here, I have the control box, which is wired over here to my JAMA connector into the Capcom I.O. Capcom I.O. USB port and VGA are connected up here. There's the USB, VGA. I have the sound. It's just mono right now because I only have mono on my TV, but I have that going from the Naomi board to the TV. Then I have the JVS power supply here. This is used for the Naomi, Chihiro, and Triforce, and I'm using that to power this. Now, technically, I could use this here. I could use the Capcom I.O. port here to power the Naomi, but I don't have a cable with the correct ends and long enough to really do anything for this thing. I did make up a homemade harness for it, but I don't have the clips on it. It's just wires, and yeah, this is much, much better, much safer. So then I have my control box here with the composite video going to the TV as well. So let's turn this thing on here, kill the lights, and show you some gameplay to make this a little bit more interesting. So let's turn on this. That will supply the video, and we'll plug in this. And you can see down here, and this thing should pop on. Nope. Turn up the volume a little bit. The fans in these things are quite loud, but normally they're inside of a cab, so you really don't hear them. But yeah, when they're out here, you can really hear them going. They almost sound like the CPS2 hardware. I should make a video on that, which one's louder. This is a really interesting game. To be honest, you know, I've had this game ever since I was at my old place. Never had a chance to play it because I don't have the keyboard. So, I need to find some way of getting a keyboard and wiring it up. I do have a keyboard for my my Dreamcast, and technically this should use a Dreamcast keyboard, but I think I need an adapter for it in order to get it to work. Really wish I had the original House of the Dead. Those backpacks are so funny. The Dreamcast with the battery in the back. And the keyboard. Can you imagine running around like that? Well, this is a really challenging game for sure. Type or die. But yeah, for those of you who don't know much about the Those of you who don't know much about the Naomi hardware, it's based off of the Sega Dreamcast, so that's why it looks basically just like a Dreamcast, you know. But yeah, as you can see here, it is a challenging game. I played it on the arcades, and I do have the keyboard and the game for the Dreamcast, and it's quite hard. Especially the Japanese can be sometimes difficult. So, luckily they have Romaji, or they have the alphabet letters in there, so it's kind of cool. Makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, there's a little bit of the Typing of the Dead intro there for you. Whee!
No! Help! Help!
30 seconds, 10 words. But yeah, anyway, there's that. Let's turn the lights back on here. And I'll show you what else is going on. Underneath this Naomi board here, I took me about 7 hours, almost a whole day, to do this, but I was able to get one of those 4 broken Naomi boards working. Here is the one of the boards that's actually working here. And this was quite tricky. What I had to do is I had to go throughout the inside of this thing. As you can see, I got Zombie Revenge there. I had to go throughout the inside of this thing, replace a ton of caps on the inside, and then on top of that, what I wound up getting is when I turned it on, it would kind of flicker, like the screen would kind of jump like it was going into the title, and then it would do nothing. So took the case off after I had the caps replaced in it and started messing around, wiggling around. There is a CPU under here with a heatsink on it. And what happens over time is those heat sinks will get just covered with dirt. The dirt will stick into the fans because it has a fan on top of the heat sink, and then the fans will stop working. So eventually the CPU will start lifting from the board and you'll lose video. Kind of similar to the Xbox 360. But nonetheless, I started messing around with it and, you know, pressing on it, trying to twist it a little bit while the thing was starting up, and finally got the video to turn on. And was trying to figure out what I could do to get that that CPU to stay in place. So I tried a bunch of different methods to try and, you know, press it down and keep pressure on it. I know that some people actually use heat guns and try and reflow the solder, but to be honest, I mean, I've never tried that before. I don't have the proper tools for it, and so I'm kind of at a loss with that. But what I did is I took the CPU, I tried a bunch of different ways to get it to have enough pressure to stay down there. It didn't work. So I went and I found one of these posts here, as you can see, like on this leg. I took one of these legs here and I beveled it and made it kind of like on an angle, and kind of like a C shape, and made it kind of go around the heat sink, around the fan, put a screw through the top of it, and so it was kind of set into the board itself, or set into the heat sink. Then I put the case back down and started screwing the case back down and tightened that up, and got this thing to fire on. I know for some people they'll definitely look down on that and probably think that that's not the best way to go with it, but to be honest, you know, without a lot of different tools, some things can be difficult, but you know, trying to make the best of a bad situation here, and this was a dead board, but now it is up and running, and you know, maybe not the best, but it still does the job here. The other problem here that I was having with this is I had a bunch of these boards on the end here, and as you can see, this one actually wound up having the plastic piece here that holds these pins in place right here. The plastic was broken, so every time that I put in this USB cord, it would just wiggle around, and then it would say that the game's not found. So what I did is, if you take a look at this board here, you'll notice that there's a white piece here that's actually covering the back of that. What I did is I took a hacksaw and I hacked this one off so I could get access to the back and use the back one, because the back and the front ports are wired exactly the same. So by doing that, I have a working port on the back there, and that allows me to play the game. So figured I'd show you this one here in action as well, show you a little bit of Zombie Revenge, and kind of go from there. This one unfortunately has a little bit of a louder fan. You know, it's just the way that this thing is. It's got a lot of older parts in it. The fan causes a bit more vibration, so you'll probably hear the fan a little bit more, but nonetheless it does work. So as you can see here, I'll plug this into this port, and this is something that anyone who has an Naomi board can do. If, for example, this front port here is broken off, you can always rip that plastic out and try this. So, and my battery is about to die, so let's see how much I can get as far as footage goes with this one before camera shuts off. Plug this one in here. As you can see, the splash screen comes up. Loading Zombie Revenge. Everything's working great. But before this battery dies, just want to thank you guys for taking a look at this video and listening to me ramble for a while. And yeah, that's about all for me for right now. Like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching.